Hello, my name is Yegor Abramov. I'm a program manager in the Intune for Education product group. The topic for this video is remote help, how it can improve IT support in education and help both IT administrators and end users. By the end of this presentation, you'll have an understanding of what remote help is and how to use it. Let's get started. Why do we need remote help? In today's world, technology is an integral part of education. It enables teachers to create more engaging lessons while giving students the tools to explore, learn, and create. However, technology can be complex and sometimes challenging to manage, especially when it comes to remote support. Whether you are an IT administrator or a teacher, providing remote support to students can be a challenging task. This is where Intune Remote Help comes in. Remote Help allows you to provide remote support to Windows devices from anywhere at any time, making sure that students and teachers can get back to work quickly. Let's take a closer look at what remote help is and how to use it. In this video, I will talk about what is remote help, demonstrate how to enable it, show key steps for deploying the remote help application and available role-based access control permissions, and finally, demonstrate how to use remote help and what reports are available. So, what is remote help? Let's start with the definition. Remote help is a cloud-based solution for secure help desk connections with role-based access controls. With the connection, your support staff can remote connect to the user's device. During the session, they can view the device display and, if permitted by the device user, take full control. Full control enables a helper to direct and make configurations or take actions on the device. Remote help is enabled tenant-wide. It adheres to the Intune role-based access control model and therefore requires organization login to be used. It does work with unenrolled devices, and the remote connection security is further enhanced by compliance warning, though the warning still allows the connection to happen. Through elevation of privilege, a helper with an administrative account can access user account control prompts to implement device configuration changes. To provide monitoring and reporting capabilities, Microsoft logs a small amount of session data that is stored for 30 days. You will find the data and privacy link in the description below. Remote help has the following prerequisites: Intune subscription, Remote help add-on license which is included in some EDU suites, Windows 10 or 11 to connect from or to, and the Remote Help app for Windows that has to be deployed to devices. Now that we know what Remote Help is and its benefits, let's take a look at how to enable it in Intune. Enabling Remote Help is a simple process that involves accessing the Intune portal with an Intune administrator account, navigating to Tenant Administration, Remote Help, then the Settings tab, and click the Configure button. Here we have the ability to enable Remote Help tenant-wide. We get the option to choose whether connection to unenrolled devices is either allowed or not allowed. I'm going to allow it. And then we have the ability to disable chat, so I'm going to keep it enabled. Then click the Save button, and immediately Remote Help is now enabled for the tenant. Once you have enabled Remote Help in Intune, the next step is to deploy the Remote Help application to your Windows devices. First, download the Remote Help application from aka.ms download Remote Help, then package it as a Win32 application in Intune and deploy it to Windows devices. In the Install and Uninstall commands under the Program tab, make sure to include the Quiet and Accept Terms switches for silent installation. As Remote Help application should be targeted to devices only, make sure to select the System Install Behavior. As a detection method for the Remote Help application, we check the version of the Remote Help executable, which is located in the Program Files Remote Help folder. Alternatively, Date Modified property could be used. To ensure a successful deployment, test the Remote Help application on a few Windows devices before deploying it to your entire organization. This will allow to get exact values for the executable version and help identify any potential issues or conflicts with other applications. Moving on to the role-based access control. In Intune, the RBAC settings allow administrators to define and assign roles to IT support personnel and to set permissions for each role. This ensures that only authorized users can access and use the system, and that they can only perform actions that are within their scope of responsibility. The remote help section in an Intune role defines the level of access to a remote computer. Without either view or full control permission, a user will not be able to establish the connection. The final part of this video is a demo of remote help usage and reporting. In this scenario, we have a student who reaches out to a teacher and asks for help. On the left side, we have a computer used by Kristen, who is a teacher, and a school tech to support her classroom. On the right side, we have a computer used by Fred, who is a student, and Fred today is studying from home. Fred has an issue with the computer and reaches out to Kristen and asks for help. Kristen explains Fred that he needs to go into the Start menu and launch the Remote Help application. Meanwhile, she launches the Remote Help application herself. On the very first run, the users are asked to click the Sign In button and accept the privacy statement. Once the Remote Help application is started, Kristen should generate a security code to be shared with Fred. And once the security code is available, Fred will input this code into his Remote Help application. Once the code has been submitted, the connection will start to initiate. Kristen will see a message that Fred is ready for her assistance, and she has the option whether to take full control of the device or just view the screen. Fred, on the other side, will see a message that Kristen is ready to help and Kristen is asking for full control of the device, and Fred has the option to either allow or decline this request. Now let's shift the focus to Kristen's computer. The helper side of the Remote Help application has some additional options available. The first button is Request UAC, which is to request the user account control interaction to be able to run applications with elevated privileges. The next button is Select Monitor, and this button allows us to select a single monitor in case the remote computer has multiple. Then we have a laser pointer to help interaction with the remote user, and the pen, which allows us to draw on screen. We also have the ability to scale down the remote desktop in case the resolution is too high. And there is an option to interact with the remote user through a chat. The other two buttons are used to either restart the computer or call the task manager. This remaining inactive button is used to restart the session in case the connection was dropped, and the leave button is used to end the session. Now let's run the Windows Terminal app on the remote computer with administrative privileges. And as you can see, we immediately presented with a black screen with this pause icon here, which indicates that there is a secure desktop interaction on the remote computer. To be able to run an app with administrative privileges on the remote computer, Kristen needs to request the UAC first. After clicking the button, the administrator is presented with a warning advising to close all the windows at the end of the session. The same warning about closing all admin windows before ending the session shows up at the top of the screen, and we can close it so it doesn't take the screen state. And now we should be able to run terminal with admin privileges. Kristen now needs to enter her credentials. And Windows Terminal is now successfully running with administrative privileges under Kristen's account. At the end of the session, the helper is expected to close all the windows that are running with administrative privileges. On the other hand, if a student decides to end the session with administrative windows running, then the student will be forced to sign out. Now that the student issue has been successfully resolved, let's take a look at the reporting. For that, we will go into the Microsoft Intune Admin Center, Tenant Administration, Remote Help. Here we have two tabs. The first one is Monitor, that provides information about the current active sessions and some historical graph data. The other Reporting tab is the Remote Help Sessions tab. It shows sessions that happened in the past. This view is currently filtered to the computer that was used in the demo, and we can see that Kristen was the helper, Fred was the recipient or the sharer, and then we'll see the device name, and when the session started and when the session ended, time shown in GMT. That concludes our remote help video. You will find links mentioned in the description below. Thank you for watching.